Welcome to our book launch event. My name is Nimita Sahi, and I'm delighted to be your host today on behalf of Adhyan Books. I hope you're enjoying discovering new authors and their compelling stories. Please do share your thoughts in the comment section. Today, we are discussing a particularly relevant book for our times. You Are Your Habits 21 Days in 21 Ways. This book follows the transformative journeys of young individuals like Prajwal, Isabella, Jack, Dia, and others as they embark on a life changing 21-day habit formation challenge. Through Coach Rosina's expert guidance, they learn to overcome procrastination, build self confidence, and develop emotional intelligence to make lasting positive changes. This isn't just another self help book, it's a practical roadmap based on real experiences from Dr. Rana's workshop, combining psychological insights with relatable storytelling. The book offers daily exercises, habit tracking tools, and community building strategies to have already transformed hundreds of lives. Dr. Rosina Rana herself is a remarkable mind coach, psychologist, and a counselor with over 2 decades of experience transforming lives. She has guided more than 4 lakh students throughout her career, helping them unlock their potential and overcome personal challenges. As the founder of the revolutionary 21 Habits 21 Days Habit Formation Challenge, she has personally mentored over 480 participants across 6 cycles during the COVID 19 period. Dr. Rana's approach combines a deep understanding of psychology with practical strategies for habit formation. She is also a motivational speaker, author, and winner of Elite Mrs. India and Mrs. Earth 2023. Beyond her professional achievements, she carries forward the legacy of her beloved daughter Zoya, whose spirit of giving continues to inspire her transitional works. Let's welcome Dr. Rosina.
Hi,
Hello, ma'am.
Nimita.
How are you? Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, Nimita. Wonderful, fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. First of all, congratulations on your book. How does it feel to finally share these stories with the world?
At the onset, first thing I would like to really thank you for such a lovely introduction for me and for my book. It's been wonderful coming here. And yeah, it feels really good for all those who are like first time authors. I never thought I'll be writing a book. And here I am talking about my book and the bestseller. So I'm really happy and humbled with this thing that God has given me.
So, ma'am, we shall begin with the questions. My first question to you will be, what inspired you to create this 21-day framework? During the COVID period, when you knew that it will be tough for you to go through this, and how did your daughter Zoya's legacy shape your mission to help people and transform their lives?
So, being very honest, there was no such idea in my mind. But I would say when COVID happened, the very first lockdown, when our prime minister he announced 21 days lockdown, and there was a lot of anxiety around. There were people were feeling lost. They didn't know what to do. Everything was shut, and I was teaching in the college. I was a soft skill trainer, and every day I used to meet hundreds of students and teachers, and there was a lot of motivation energy around, and I was like, how am I going to reach these people? And when I heard the 21 days, that stuck with me, the 21 days, and I was like, okay, 21 days is exactly what needs for a habit to form. And that's
True.
what research and all the things about habit formation says. And I was like, okay, let me announce this on the media, social media, and people start joining me. There were many students, teachers who joined my WhatsApp group, and it started with just a not even an idea, I would say, just a thought ki, okay, let me help people, let me reach out. And I thought there'll be like 30, 40, 50 people, but gradually, eventually, with the 6 cycles, there were 400 plus people who came in. Talking about my daughter Zoya, I lost her when she was 21, and in a road accident. It was very unfortunate. It was very very deep pain for me, but she was a giver, and she had always given a message of giving. And even when doctors asked me to donate her organs, I said yes, because I felt if Zoya was there, and she would also say yes to this. And then I donated, and I felt that, yeah, I mean, we need to give to society. And this
Definitely.
is one way of giving. And so I dedicated this book on her name.
So, ma'am, each chapter in the book feels like a story of rediscovery, both from your perspective and your students' perspective. So, when did you first, when you started this journey, did you imagine that it will one day become a moment of transformation?
Not at all. Not at all. As I told you, it was just a passing idea that, okay, this is how I'm going to reach my people, my students. And so many people joined. And there are so many people who have experience, consistency, and also success. And all those stories are now out for the world to read.
So, ma'am, many programs promise results in 2 months or 3 months. What makes this 21-day approach more effective, and how does it help readers experience that real shift in their lives?
Nimita, you're very correct. But also there's a research. As I said right in the beginning, there's a research that shows that when you do something for 3 weeks consistently, there are new neural pathways that form in your brain.
Hmm.
Okay, and the brain loves small wins. I can do this. That feeling that I can do. Oh, I did this. 21 days, I did it. Okay.
All motivation.
And then comes the longer journey. But yes, 21 days is doable. It is not intimidating. Okay, oh my God. It's not like that. And it's more about progress without feeling pressure. Too much pressure. Okay, 6 months goal, 1 year goal is like a big goal. So 21 days is a start small as a human, no heroic thing, but small steps.
True. So the book tells powerful real life stories. There must have been so many participants. Given we're talking about 480 people, so whose transformation moved you the most, and what common mindset shifts did you see in those who succeeded?
So I will particularly talk about Vinay. In the book, his name is Jack, and he was overweight and always bothered with this overweight thing, and he was not consistent. After over the period of time coming to the program, he became so consistent. He was somebody who did all 6 cycles, so he was there throughout in the journey for almost 1 year plus with me, doing 21 days and again 21 days, and he lost 11 kgs. That was like in 3 cycles he could lose 11 kgs, which was big achievement. And everybody who was there, most of them, I would say, not all of them were totally active, but yes, I could see that shift in their lifestyle, I would say, and
Hmm.
also their mindset, in the sense more love for yourself, because there were activities. Now even this Vinay, uh, since he was a little overweight, there was a lot of body shaming comments that he used to get even in the family. Yeah, and then I have made a joke out of it in the book also. And then he could also accept himself in a much
Hmm.
better way after all these mindset challenges and everything. So the moment people stop saying why me and starts asking, what now, let me go ahead and do. So this is the whole range of emotions that people went through.
So, ma'am, many people, usually have this habit of abandoning these new habits they create in the very first week. So, what key insight from your experiences do tell people to help them push through the first 7 days and then move on to the next?
Yeah, that's very very true. I mean, first week there's full of motivation. Oh my God, I'm joining something new. Like you say, New Year resolutions, gym
Yeah.
membership. Those who take gym membership on 1st of January and they start doing it, they hardly continue doing it. Full year ka paisa bhar diya hai so that I go, but it's not sustainable. People don't consistently do it, not because they are weak or something, but because they try to change everything at once.
Hmm.
First week is just for seeing the patients sleep ek pura week karo. And then it's not about even laziness, it's about the wiring, as I said, neural pathways. So एक wiring हमारा होता है, उसे हमें change करना है. So we have to go slow and steady. Yes, the first week and the second week, and that's how we continue, and the consistency matters. It's not about perfection but consistency.
Hmm. So, ma'am, community support is very essential. You know, it plays a very central role in your program. So, how do you see the balance between external accountability and internal motivation in sustaining these new habits?
Again, I'll take example of gym. When you go and when you see people also doing lifting weight, and if you are lifting say 10 kgs, if you somebody lifting next day 12 kgs, you feel, oh my, let me also try. So that community, the whole people, pushes you. But that is the beginning of it. That's the beginning of it. Finally, what really transforms, when you start transforming you, that comes from within. That it has to be an internal pull. So external
Definitely.
push and internal pull, so both together then go hand in hand. And you see people that, okay, he's also struggling, he's also, it's difficult for him to wake up early, it's difficult for him to do so many paintings. So when you have a lot of people and you see their struggles, that motivates you to move and push yourself. But finally it happens internal, through internal pull.
So, ma'am, several characters in the book face serious disruptions, like Ketan during the floods. So, what does their resilience teach us about staying consistent? You know, when life seemingly seems so uncertain and unpredictable.
Yes, yes. So this Ketan, I mean, you have picked a very, very good character, I would say, Nimita. This boy was so determined to crack UPSC. He used to sit in library. He used to put off his phone. I mean, no phone around. Okay, and for hours together, he used to study, read, no disturbance at all. Full day in library. That was his determination. And these floods happened, and suddenly he got to know about floods in his village, and he wanted to leave everything and go.
Mm-hmm.
Now see, the life is going to throw challenges at you. The life is going to interrupt whatever plans you have. And habits or your routines, I would say, is your anchor that's going to hold you there. So many times when people say that I was traveling, and I'm also in that people, I'm traveling, so I'm not able to maybe work out or finish my routines or whatever I want to achieve, or exam time or wedding time even. Shadi hai to 8 din no gym, for example. So life, these are the regular everyday activities, but sometimes something will happen and you feel that, okay, I am not able to do my routine. But in those chaotic situations, consistency is something that is going to give you a lifetime of fitness or goals or achievements or success, I would say.
True. So, ma'am, your background in psychology give this book a deep emotional core. So, how do individual habits change, ripple outward to influence family, workplaces, and community?
Nimita, I would ask, what is the communities made of? Communities are made of people.
People, yeah.
Society is made of people.
Mm-hmm.
Family is made of people, mother, father, children. A calm parent raises a calm child. A leader in a corporate situation, if you see a CEO or a leader, he, through his behavior, is going to have a strong team. So this has the habits or routines, or how you live your life has a ripple effect outside. People will watch you and they will follow. So you become the catalyst, you become the change maker.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens. Ripple effect happens, and then in the whole community that was there, online community that we had, everybody used to look at each other. And the great things doesn't happen, it's real societal change doesn't begin with grand revolutions, I would say. It begins with
Yeah.
everyday people choosing the habits, right routines, right?
True.
So
True.
the title, okay, the title, you are your habits, therefore I say you are your habits. You know, every person, when you focus on your habits and routines, you can make a better society, isn't it?
True. True. So, ma'am, you have interwoven storytelling with evidence-based psychology. So, how did you strike that balance between scientific accuracy and emotional relatability?
So Nimita, whoever is going to read my book, they will see that the way I coach, the way I train in the classroom, with engagement, with interaction, with lot of love, with all my heart out. There's no science there. Science is the next thing. Psychology is the next thing. There's no theory. Okay, so for example, monkey trap is a story that I'm giving you. So people will think, okay, am I behaving like a monkey and I'm
Mhm.
trapped somewhere? So that's how every story, the character story and the other like metaphors that I have used, people will link themselves with that. Eat that frog first comes from a very famous book. The book title itself is Eat That Frog. Okay, Brian Tracy's book it is. So I've taken from that. So when people think about, okay, even today I use this. When I have to do something, I'll say, which is the frog that I have to eat first? Okay. So this is what I need to do first. So this is how people relate to the stories more than theory. It's not like reading a textbook, but it's living your life. And some mentor or some friend who is holding your hand and taking you through every step by step. So that's how it is. I mean, but the psychology concepts are woven inside it.
True. So, ma'am, many of the stories that you have portrayed, be it Jack's self acceptance or be it Prajwal's confidence, it feels deeply human. So, what do these journeys reveal about the link between self belief and habit formation?
Oh, it's everything. I would say self belief. I mean, if myself is very fragile, yeah, I'm doing this because I want to prove it to somebody. So then it's not going to work. I need to do it for myself. We need to have a strong self and self compassion for this discipline to have to habits to become effortless. Then if I'm doing it
Hmm.
for myself, then it becomes effortless, but it starts with self. I love myself, my body. I deserve the best. uh,
True.
I want to make right choices for me, and that's how you stick to it.
True. So, ma'am, some stories touch on deep struggles like addiction, self esteem, and probably mental health too. So, how can readers recognize when habit work needs to shift towards professional help?
I think, Nimita, this is a very, very important question. When habit struggles crosses that mental health territory is when a person feels trapped in the cycle of guilt or hopelessness, or he's not able to function his
Mhm.
daily activities, not able to sleep or eat well, not able to socialize. This is the time he needs a professional help. It is no longer about willpower. It's a sign that you need support, and coaching helps you to move forward, whereas therapy, counseling helps you to heal your past, whatever is holding you back. Both are different way of treating people. And going for counseling is not a weakness. Going for coaching is not a weakness. Because you want to achieve some excellence, some big task, you go for coaching. Because you want to heal, you go for counseling. There is no shame in that. In fact, I would say people, it's courageous to go out and ask for help.
True. True. So, ma'am, habits often depend on resources. If I have to count, then maybe time, the environment, or the privilege to actually adopt those habits. So, how can readers from diverse socioeconomic backgrounds adapt to your models to fit into their realities?
Okay, so I would say it's not about investment in terms of money. It's all about
Mm-hmm.
intention. It's all about intention. So no investment but intention. If I have the intention, I will make my way to wherever I. If you want to paint, if you want to write, for example, you need a paper and a pen.
Yeah.
If you want to have fitness, you just need anything at home or body weight with which you can do it. It just needs 10 minutes of commitment, intention, strong desire to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Start with what you have, not with what you lack. I mean, if you don't, मैंने देखा है कि if people go in the garden and coming from a very humble background, they will go in a local garden, eat mungfali, and they are happy couple. Just an
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
But then people who are living in maybe big bungalows, and I mean, one of the Amir Khan's movie had this Gulam. I think the dialogue that "Bade bade parde ke piche I see big buildings, I feel oh my God." And when I see their lives, this full of they are full of miseries. Okay, so it's not
Mm.
about money, but of course it's about time, investing in yourself, not in terms of money, but commitment.
True. given that we're talking about the 21-day framework, so what happens after the 21st day? How can readers transition from the discipline that they've got from this short-term framework to a lifelong transformation?
Again, a very, very beautiful question, I would say. So 21 days is not a finishing line.
Mm-hmm.
We see in on airport, the plane goes in the runway first. It will just take rounds in the runway, and then it will take movement, speed, and then it will take off, right? So 21 days is just going on the runway and getting the patience and the practice and getting in the momentum. I talk about 21-90 rule. 21 days is to build your habit, and 90 days it takes to make it a lifestyle. I would say more than 90 days, because it's a commitment to yourself. It's not easy. Otherwise, every new year, why do we see so many people making so many habits, and end of the year when they analyze, it's maybe they have not reached there, because it's very difficult to stick to these things. So
Mm-hmm.
21 days is not an end. It is just ignition, just the start. It's just the runway. And then with the full speed, people need to take off. And that's the reason I've given worksheets at the end, which is repeatable. And you
True.
continue tracking and keep doing it 21 days repeatedly.
True. So, ma'am, your chapters like the Commitment Day and Love Yourself Day blend emotional breakthroughs with some practical action. So, which of these themes do you believe is the turning point of this journey?
So I would say every day. I mean, if I look at it, I mean, every 21 days, I have put 21 different things on each day. Love yourself, monkey day, frog day, so that you remember 21 days what you're doing. And pat yourself, and you need to appreciate, rationalize yourself. Laughter, some laughter is important. All these days, affirmation day, club 100 day. So these, I would say every day is important, but I will pick love yourself day is most important. As I mentioned in earlier also, that self belief and self love and compassion towards yourself. I deserve the best. I need the best,
True,
and
ma'am.
that's how that fuels, that powers every change that you want to do. Yeah.
True. I'm just curious to know that, you have worked with close to 4 lakh students. How can this 21-day habit model be scaled up to the part that it is part of schools, universities, and corporate training, where I believe that is required the most these days?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I would see that, I can see, and the world is seeing that all institutions, whether it's corporate, schools, colleges, everybody is understanding post COVID more so the importance of emotional fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Their work and their academic performance or their productivity is declining because of emotional fitness. So this model, this whole 21 days framework is very, very adaptable, easily adapt. People can easily adapt it. It's very simple, very practical, scalable. It can, in a big corporates, they can form small groups and they can do it. They are doing it already. They are doing it. There are HRs who are taking care of it. But more is required, and this whole model, after your this podcast, maybe it's going to go to many people. And my book is now bestseller and it's gone to so many people, so it's easily adaptable, and I would highly advocate. And if any of the institutions want me to come and put the system in place, I'll be really very happy to do that.
True, मैम. So मैम, इतनी सारे लोगों की ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन you, be it as a coach, be it as a psychologist, and be it as a mother also?
Oh, wow. I would say faith in myself, faith in God Almighty. I did 6 cycles of 21 days. जो मैंने सोचा भी नहीं था. After second one, my students told me that, ma'am, please do this. We want to get into this practice again. So all the characters have taught me so much. As a coach, I have started believing in a community which can grow together. Every story I wrote became a piece of my own recovery, I would say. Every
Mm-hmm.
transformation I witnessed reminded me of my daughter's light, how healing, love really never ends and how you can make a difference in people's lives. Okay, so this is as a mother, I would say, and healing is not linear. Growth is not linear. It goes up and down, up and down. You are a human being, and you will falter. You will falter. And the important thing is that you get up and get going again. Dust yourself. Dust yourself. It's not a bad to fall down, but it's if you remain in that situation, and that is something which is self-defeating. So just dust yourself, get up and get going again.
Definitely. So this is it from both of our ends. Thank you so much, Dr. Rana, for joining in for this enlightening session about habit formation, community support, and personal transformation. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, Nimita. Thank you. It was lovely interacting with you and such lovely questions. And I'm very, very happy to be here with you talking about this subject very close to my heart. Thank you.
Same here, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us this afternoon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more author interviews. Thank you so much.